Any concerns?
All right. So let's get started just so that we can really be managing our time and be mindful of our time. Welcome to Sugar Busters.
Woo!
Happy May 19th. Happy Sunday. Thank you all for coming in. We're really appreciative that you guys took the time to come in and learn how to address insulin resistance using plant-based tools. I like to say all of these things are tools um, in our healing process. So eating plant-based is a tool, meditation is a tool, all of are tools. And so in learning how to address some of our issues, our challenges, our wellness challenges, we need to learn the tools that we need for our specific conditions. And then from that, we can make some adjustments. So I am Chef B. I'm Dr. Natasha Bruley, also known as Chef B. I'm holistic wellness coach, raw plant-based chef, business coach, uh, wellness advocate, just all the things, just very passionate about helping people to live a healthier plant-based life. And I know that a lot of people have a challenge really bringing in more plants. They think it's boring. They're like, I want that other stuff that they don't necessarily need. And so, particularly when something like type 2 diabetes comes online or is sort of, it's like you're getting threatened by your doctor, your blood sugar levels are just too high, too much, and you have to make some changes. Sometimes people they just lose it. They don't know what to do. So we wanted to do this webinar to really share with you all the powerful tools that you can use of plant-based foods. And Dr. Shayla is going to share just sort of like what's happening in the body behind the scenes, like what does insulin resistance really mean, all right? So I'm gonna give her opportunity right now to just say who she is and what she do. And we'll jump in.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I am Dr. Shayla Toombs-Withers. For you folks out there who may not know me, I am the owner and founder of Essence of Health Wellness Clinic and Coaching. My background, I am a physician by training, board certified in family medicine and fellowship trained in obesity medicine. I also hold a certificate of plant-based nutrition. At Essence of Health, I founded this clinic so that I can offer a more holistic type of healthcare to the community and to folks all over. And so within this approach, it is a lifestyle medicine focus where we focus on plant-based nutrition, how to get more plants on your plate to not only treat your health condition, but also to prevent and reverse those health conditions that commonly affect us as Americans here. And so that's what I do at Essence of Health. And then I also offer virtual coaching on metabolic health. And so we'll be sharing more of that today. And I'm excited to be here and share with you all.
Absolutely. It's, I love because actually when I did my holistic health training, I did a few different programs, Shayla, and one was through Well Coaches. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Well Coaches.
Not that program. Mine came through eCornell where I did my plant-based program.
Okay, nice.
Mhm.
Well, Well Coaches is like a governing body for health coaches. So they have quite a few continuing education classes, but they also do have this sort of lifestyle medicine
Mhm.
certification. So I am a certified lifestyle medicine health coach. So I love that you use that language because really the medicine is in just changing these different components and shifting and adjusting these different components in our lifestyle. And that is the medicine. Unfortunately, some of us are, a little stubborn, but that's fine. Once you understand the power of just lifestyle and how it can be used as a tool to really address chronic issues, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
The power is in hand. Like you really don't need medication for many things. I mean, there
right.
are situations where you need medication, but in many cases, you also the medication is you just changing your diet,
Yeah.
changing your lifestyle, changing your mindset, and
Mhm.
things just shift.
Yeah,
tremendously.
and Chef, I'll even tell you the way I explain it to patients because as a physician, I do prescribe medications, but we use those medications as a tool. The medication shouldn't be the end all to be all. If your blood pressure, 180 over whatever, yeah, I'm gonna give you a medication because I don't want you to have a stroke. But there are these other things that we're gonna do, and we're gonna get that blood pressure down. And then I'm also that doctor that will then take you off of that medication. So, is for a long time I would run into people who always felt like, yeah, my doctor put me on this, so I'm just going to be on it the rest of my life. And so I just tell people that's not necessarily true. Not if you change these lifestyle things, put these factors into place for sustainability that you and I talk to folks about. Then yeah, those medications can just be a tool, a bridge to just get you over while you're putting these other things into place, and then you can come off of those medications.
Yeah, and I think we need to hear more about that from doctors because many of the physicians that some of our folks who are on this call or webinar or just out there, they get a different kind of information.
Right.
Once you're on that medication, that's it.
Hmm.
That's it. You're gonna be on there for the rest of your life. And so there's like a second part to that. You're on the medication for the rest of your life if you don't change your lifestyle.
Right.
Right? But if you're willing to make the changes, then it's just like you said, the bridge.
Hmm.
So I love that you, along with a few other holistic doctors that I know of, you're saying that because people need to hear that more and more,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, so let's jump in. I'm gonna let you get started. So the way this is gonna go, y'all, is Shayla has some slides that she wants to share with you around insulin resistance and just sort of the science, like what's actually happening. So we'll give her an opportunity to do that in the first piece. And then after she does that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys three recipes. So, we're not going to actually do the full production of the recipes, but we're going to put three things together and show you some really delicious uh, vegetables or just recipes that are wonderful for reversing and just really implementing into your diet. All right. So I'll show you that towards the end. So I'm just going to give Shayla the floor so that she can do her thing.
Yeah, thank you. And the other part I want to mention too is that we welcome questions, we welcome thoughts, input. This is not meant to be us just talking at you. I love to have interaction from the participants. So if you've got questions, put them in the Q&A because we're definitely going to have a Q&A where we're happy to answer questions. And if it's about your own health, family member, what have you, just feel free to put it there so that we can chat. That's what we're here for. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen. Once I get to it. Oh, here we go. All right. Can you see these slides, Chef?
Yep, I can see
Okay,
them.
got it, got it. All right. So this is my about me. I'm gonna keep moving, actually, since I've already told you all about me. But these guys on here, these are my boys. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I love the outdoors. So that's just a bit more about me and what I do. Just really to take home the fact that I get it, that we are busy folks. We all have a lot going on. I get it. That's why I show these pictures to show you that, yep, I got a lot going on too. But the things that I'm telling you are practical things here. All right. So one of the terms I've actually coined is the health crisis trifecta. Now we're talking about insulin resistance today, but these conditions are just those more common chronic conditions that plague our country, especially amongst people of color. High blood pressure over 50%. So that's one in two, meaning, I don't know how many folks we got joining us right now, but if you look at 50%, chances are somebody on here has high blood pressure. 33% have prediabetes, one of those insulin resistance conditions that we're chatting about today. 11% have type 2 diabetes. And that's not the kind that, you got from an autoimmune condition. This is the lifestyle related type of diabetes. 11% of adults have this. And then 40% have high cholesterol. All of these things actually increase your risk for heart disease, which is the number one killer of Americans in this country. And by way of having these conditions, you're already increasing your risk of that. Now, what can some of those symptoms look like? So it may be some things that you've experienced already. A lot of times, most commonly, what I hear from folks, especially amongst women, is fatigue. Just, feeling tired all the time, feeling sluggish, can't feel like you can get up and go and complete your daily activities without needing a nap or that extra cup of coffee. A lot of folks may develop mood challenges, even just believe it or not, just based on the pathology of your body, get depressed mood or more anxious at times, or lack of concentration and focus. This is all related to what's going on within our bodies. Bloating, stomach issues. It comes from what we eat or the lack thereof. Feeling thirsty or having urinary tract symptoms. These are all related to insulin resistance and to these conditions that I've shared with you. And then that weight gain. We see people who feel like no matter what they do, they just have trouble losing weight. And that's all a part of this. And then sometimes there are not even any symptoms at all. And as a doctor, I've seen a lot of people come in and say, hey, I'm healthy. Well, they think they're healthy because they haven't seen a doctor probably in several years to tell them otherwise. But then once we, start checking that blood pressure or checking those preventative measures, looking at their blood sugar, turns out you're not just, as healthy as you thought you were. And so this is all important to know, as these can be symptoms or signs that there's something going wrong. So, like I mentioned, what's the big deal? Even with, insulin resistance, the big deal is that these conditions can lead to illness, can lead to death. Heart disease, like I mentioned, is that number one cause of death. These conditions raise our healthcare costs. We spend a lot of money, especially if you get to a point of where you're needing insulin or some of the more expensive diabetes medications. A lot of people will tend to say, well, it's expensive to eat healthy, but I venture to tell people it's expensive when you have these conditions because of the amount that you're going to be paying your doctor to see them a lot for health visits, the amount you're going to be paying in tests, the amount you're going to be paying in medication costs. So it's much more affordable, for you to eat more healthful and to take in these things that we're sharing with you today. So the kicker is that this is reversible. That's why Chef Bee and I are here sharing this information with you, because we do want you to know that these conditions are reversible and there's things you can do about it. So one of the main focuses that I like to share with people is sustainability. Being a physician, especially being an obesity medicine physician, one of the common things I get people, they ask, well, what's the best diet? Because, if anybody's watched the news, they know the weight loss industry is $1 million billion industry. And it wouldn't be if there was, just one magical thing that worked for everybody or if everybody did it. So what we know about the best diet is the best thing that is going to be sustainable for you, and that's going to be easy for you to follow. And that's going to be healthful for you and make you feel good, which is why I present a plant-based approach, because it meets these things to give you sustainable health and wellness. And so just a couple of things that I'm going to touch on is thinking long term. Like I talked about, what makes you feel good, what way of eating makes you feel good, what's going to be easiest for you to stick to. Chef Bee is going to share with you those easy meal prep things so that you can see how easy this is to put more plants on your plate. Assessing and reassessing your goals, always keeping a goal in mind, because that's going to be so important in even reaching your health goals. The SMART technique, which is something that I often share with folks when I coach. And then community. Community is a big part of what we're discussing. Even you just being here, you're part of this community, which is why we want you to share with us and drop those questions. There's a quote that I like to share. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So community is a large part too of you being successful with your health goals, in keeping you motivated and in keeping you accountable. So these are some just other things that we're going to touch on today. Now, one thing that I bring into place when I talk to folks about insulin resistance, and diabetes and blood sugar is the approach of mind-body balance. This is approach where if you look at these circles here, yeah, I do have the pointer. Great. So the middle is mind-body balance. And when you look at the components of mind-body balance, it's composed of healthful nutrition, intentional movement, and mindset. I'll go into these a little bit more here in a moment. But the other key part that I want you to see is even the overlap of these, because one of these components definitely plays a part in the other. And if one is not in balance, then you're going to have a challenging time keeping the others in balance too. And so, I'll tell you more about that. And then even when you have these components in balance, that's going to bring you that energy to take you away from that sluggishness and those symptoms we talked about. That's going to make you more aware of your body and how you're feeling and those good inputs that you want to be putting into your body to continue feeling that way. That's going to help you bring in that confidence that you need to stay on track with holding on to and achieving those goals that you've set for yourself. So this is really the key here, that mind-body balance. Now, in terms of sustainability, and so when we talk about insulin resistance, I'm going to break it down to you this way. So insulin is actually a hormone. So a lot of times, people will say, "Oh, my hormones are out of whack," or that kind of thing. And a lot of times, folks don't really even realize what hormones they're talking about. But insulin is a hormone, and so you do naturally make insulin. When we eat, when we consume food, our bodies will make insulin because when we consume food, what happens is it releases sugar. And that's whether you've eaten sugar or whether you've eaten even just, a salad or what have you. But it releases those carbohydrates, which the body recognizes as sugar. And then the insulin is going to come in to keep our body at a steady state. Our body likes to be within balance. And so even our sugar level. But what happens over time when we're eating foods that will send our sugar really high, so things like the potato chips and the cookies and the sodas, and the fried foods, when we're eating those types of foods, our sugar will tend to spike really high. And then it's going to take even more of that insulin hormone that our bodies naturally make to bring our sugars back down to that key healthy balance where our bodies want to be. And what happens over time is that our body stops recognizing insulin working as well as it previously did. That's where the resistance part comes in, because now our body is saying, "Ooh, I've gotten tired," because you're constantly giving me this stuff. So now I've gotten tired. So now when you're eating that donut, for example, and then that insulin comes in, it's going to take even more because now that insulin is just not working as well. So the body is thinking, well, hey, I just need to pump out more and more of that insulin so that I can get that sugar back down to the steady state. And so what happens in turn, by your body pumping out more and more of that insulin hormone then promotes you to store fat within your body. You tend to store more of that fat, makes you gain weight, makes you more sluggish, increases your risk for those cardiovascular disease components that we talked about. So all of these things compound onto one another. So that's why, these things that we're talking to you about are so important. So when it really boils down to it, your diet is really going to be key, and your nutrition is really going to be key into that. And so just even thinking about that long-term sustainability, when we talk about, and I put diet in quotes because I don't feel like you should really be a diet. It should be a lifestyle, something that you just really stick to and do all the time. But thinking in those factors of cost, flexibility, palatability, does it taste good? We like good food. You should be able to eat good food. Is it pleasurable to you, and does it make you full? And so I'm gonna let Chef P tell you about all those ways to make it palatable and pleasurable for you. But then it'll, you'll see with the things that she's gonna share that it'll definitely keep you full. And that's why we take this plant-based approach, because it meets those keys too for sustainability and for helping with your insulin resistance. Also, a key thing I like to point out, because I feel that a lot of people miss too when we're getting full, is that mindset plays a part into that. And so, even when you're thinking about that beforehand, did you anticipate that it was going to be good and filling, or did you think, oh, this is just another old salad? So, I know I'm not going to like that, and you're already setting yourself up that you're not going to enjoy it and it's not going to be good. And then thinking about, um, the texture of it, because a lot of us, we eat with our senses, and so that plays a part in it too, and us being able to stick to healthy eating. And so I'll let Chef share some more of that with you. Now, when you nourish yourself, you want to nourish yourself in a way that's going to reduce hunger, and in a way that's going to be energizing to you. And so that's one of the keys with insulin resistance. So, I talked about you eat those things, your sugar spikes, and so your insulin comes in to bring it down. But when you're eating these more healthful foods, particularly fiber, which can be found in your dark leafy greens, in the beans that you eat, those unprocessed whole grains, things like brown rice, quinoa, barley, oats, those types of foods, those actually, they will keep you fuller longer, thereby reducing your overall hunger and reducing your overall calorie intake. They'll actually keep your blood sugar more stabilized, because it takes longer for those fibrous foods to digest. So you won't tend to get those spikes of sugar where your body has to bring in all of this insulin to bring it down. And so that way you'll stay, fuller longer, you'll stay more satisfied and not get those hangry cravings that are coming in. And so, that'll be just a better overall way of nourishing yourself. And then the protein piece, and that's a whole nother topic, but we can talk to you about later. It's plant-based protein. But one of the key protein pieces, which I know Chef B will share with you, is beans. Beans are, I call them a superfood, because they're high in fiber as well as high in protein. And so those are the components that you want to be thinking of too, in terms of the sustainability and in terms of keeping your blood sugar balanced and keeping your digestive tract working appropriately, to keep you full and reduce your overall caloric intake.
I wanted to add
Yeah,
something
go
to
ahead.
what you said. I want you to go back real fast. Go back
Yeah,
2 slides. One more.
yeah.
So the mindset. So one of the things that I thought about as you were sharing was the importance of us really connecting to our food and not aimlessly eating. Because if you actually slowed down and you really thought about what it is that you were eating, and you were actually asking yourself some of these questions, the food now, it gives you an opportunity to have an experience, once you slow down. So if you actually decided to slow down, chew your food more thoroughly, really experience what it is that you're tasting, really experience the textures that you talked about, really experience, just the delight in trying something different, right?
Mhm.
You just start to build this new relationship with your food, giving thanks for what the food is supposed to do for the body, asking the food to do what it needs to do in the body as you consume it. So we all need to slow down, right? We all need to slow down and really think about what kind of relationship we have with our food. When do we eat? Why do we eat? Do we even consider doing fasting? Because all of those things really help to play a part in reversing the insulin resistance as well.
Mhm.
And so I wanted you guys to tell me in the Q&A if you really kind of take your time and eat, or do you feel like you rush when you eat and you can maybe slow down? Is that something that you all struggle with or that you need to consider a little bit more? You can drop a comment. So my question is, from a mindset standpoint, when you eat, are you taking your time to eat? Are you really thinking about what it is that you're eating and really evaluating the experience that you're having while you're eating? Are you doing that? So I'm asking that. I'm at Shayla, what about you? I mean, while people kind of think about that question.
I love that question. You know, Chef, there have been some studies that have shown actually that when we do slow down to eat, we actually consume less calories versus if we're, not really paying attention. So, if you're watching a show or if you're, scrolling on your phone even, or if you're just rushing through to eat, you'll likely eat more and tend to overeat versus if you actually slowed down and just like you said, kind of took into place those components of thinking about what you're eating, why you're eating, what that food is doing for you, how it even tastes to you, and how you're feeling afterwards. You'll tend to even eat less just naturally,
Yeah,
which can be
yeah,
helpful too. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just even being prayerful, right? And
Mhm.
and showing gratitude. Plants are so powerful and they do
Yeah.
so many wonderful things for the body, but it's a sacrifice, right? In the same way that you eat meat, you're eating plants, but it's designed specifically to help you.
Right.
Giving thanks, showing homage to that food and saying to the food, oh my gosh, thank you for what all the beautiful things that you're about to do for my body. I really appreciate you.
And
I
another thing I've noticed when I've slowed down, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, it's just even the way that the food tastes, for example, just eating like celery one day, I was just sitting, just, in a time where I just took the time and wasn't doing anything else, just munching on some celery sticks. It's like, this is kind of tangy, kind of salty, kind of, and you just hadn't even, realized that because usually you're just, doing probably a bajillion
yeah,
things,
yeah.
but even just the way that the food tastes, you can actually taste it for what it is and see that a lot of times we don't even need all this other stuff that we may think we need for food just by taking in those different components into our mental part of the cognitive part of it.
So there is a comment
Mhm.
after a 12 to 16-hour fast, I'm ready to eat. I'm ravishing hungry and I'm not savoring any flavors. Listen, I understand. I understand. But even that, when you're doing fast, when you're doing a fast, there's ways to break your fast where you're not being so hungry.
Mhm.
So I'm curious if you're fasting, what kinds of things are you doing when you break your fast? Some things that you can do is you can do a warm broth, you can do tea, you could do a warm tea like a mint tea or a green tea. One, I found over the years that even if I'm hungry late at night, I just don't eat. But if it's like really calling me, if I have a cup of tea, that warmth really just helps to calm my digestive system. And I'm not like ravishing hungry. I just tell myself, you know what, there's always tomorrow. You can have it tomorrow. It's okay. And I'm always in conversation with myself about how I'm eating. Matter of fact, today is Sunday, right, y'all? On Sundays, I actually have something called No Chew Day. So I do a very long intermittent fast from Saturday all the way to Monday. All right. And so the reason why I do that is one, to really develop discipline, really work on my mindset around food, really to think about, and I don't have insulin issues or insulin resistance issues, but just to prevent it, I'm eating less so that my body goes back into balance over that period of time. So it's something to consider. Just really thinking about the relationship that you have with your food. When do you eat? Do you eat in the car? Do you eat on the go, walking somewhere? Or do you actually sit at a table, take your time and eat, gathered with friends, family, etc.? These are all things that we need to examine.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I'll add to that for folks to also keep in mind hydration, especially if you've been fasting. Make sure that you're drinking and staying hydrated, because a lot of times dehydration can also look like hunger. It may not be, so much that you're ravenous, but you may need to drink something, which can also be helpful for a number of things. So even just trying to make sure, that you're having some fluid, which can also where that cup of tea can be nice. A cup of broth can be nice, or just a cup of water, but something hydrating too, so that that's not playing a part into even tricking you to feeling like you're super hungry.
I love that. Awesome. All right.
All right. The other piece I talk about, within mind body balance is movement. And I like to use the term intentional movement, especially for my insulin resistance folks over just exercise. Because sometimes, we think of exercise and we're like, oh, that feels like a chore. But when we think of movement and moving intentionally, we're thinking of a goal. So, if you got a condition of insulin resistance, then you're telling yourself, I'm going to move my body for 10 minutes because I know that this is one of the natural ways that I can bring my blood sugar down just by moving my body. And so, that can look like you going for a walk. That can look like you going for a run, riding a bicycle, swimming in a pool, whatever makes you feel good, but doing it with intention. So not just that, oh, I, took a walk to the mailbox, but something just really intentional that really got your body moving, got your heart rate revved up, got your body into a calorie burning, into a metabolic burning machine so that you can really achieve those goals of getting your blood sugar stabilized. These reminders here, so this is from the American Heart Association that recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate physical activity per week. That's just the baseline that I like to remind people of. That's just, like the minimum that we should be doing just for overall health. But really, if you are wanting to kick it into gear and really promote weight loss, then you're going to want to be closer to that 300 minutes of moderate activity per week to really get your body into that weight loss mode. The other key reminder I like to tell people is that it can be broken up. Sometimes we feel like, especially as busy folks, we're like, well, I don't have an hour to go work out today. You may not have an entire hour, but break it up. Do you have 10, 15 minutes, right when you get up in the morning? Do you have at least a 20-minute lunch break maybe that you can go, walk on your lunch break? Then do you have another 10, 15 minutes after work that you can do something? Split it up. Studies have shown out there amongst the obesity medicine studies that have been done that even breaking up those workouts as minimum as 10 minutes multiple times through a day is just as effective as doing that whole hour at one time. So break it up. Don't feel bad about doing that. And then remember strength training, because I like to remind folks is that as we build muscle, that actually is more metabolically efficient, meaning it actually helps our metabolism, speeds it up, turns us into natural fat and calorie burning machines when we have more muscle. So don't be afraid to build some strength and add some strength training into there. Kettlebells, you can use the stretchy bands. I love those. You can buy them at Walmart, Target, anywhere. You can sit in front of the TV and just stretch those bands out, get some strength training in that way. You can do body weight exercises, good old fashioned push ups, sit ups, wall pushes, whatever knocks you out. But you could do any of those, and even fitness workouts online. This is one that I mentioned for folks who are in my program. But you can find them on YouTube, anywhere, other programs that help with that.
All right, so we
Um,
actually have a
Go ahead.
comment. Someone said playing pickleball. I've never heard
Oh,
of pickleball.
yeah, pickleball has become more popular. Now, I've never personally
What?
played,
I've
but
never
it,
heard of
it has
this.
become really popular. Somebody said they're down 20 pounds from pickleball. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
pickleball.
Yeah.
Still working on the consistency of my nutrition. Could y'all just tell me what pickleball is? I need to know.
It's like tennis meets racquetball, sort of.
Okay, badminton
We'll have
too.
to have our
Like,
pickleball player tell us more about it in the chat.
yes, maybe they
That's
can
what
tell
it's
us.
like.
Wait, is it kind of like badminton? Like, is it like that?
No, not quite badminton though. It's kind of like tennis, but it's not quite as spread out as tennis.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so that's why I say like tennis meets racquetball, meets ping pong. If you somebody's perfect. Okay, so I kind of explained it.
I know they said perfect explanation.
Yeah,
You hit
yeah,
it on the head,
good,
Shayla, Dr.
good.
Shayla.
But what I like about that comment is do what's enjoyable.
Yeah,
So this person
yeah.
they found pickleball to be enjoyable. Do that. Do, whatever is enjoyable for you. I'm an outdoors person, so I like to hike. I like to, Chattanooga, we're by the river. I like to be on the water,
Mhm.
paddleboard and swimming. So I like that kind of stuff. What do you like, Chef? What's your move?
Um, if anyone follows me, I do spin classes. So I'm a beast on the spin bike, indoor spin classes. We dance on the bike,
Nice.
weight train. We also do boot camp. So where you're actually using your own body. Like you're not necessarily using weight. If you are using a weight, it's a very small weight
Mhm.
or very light weight. It's literally just a lot of jumping.
Yep.
So actually, I started doing this month. I said I committed to doing boot camp this month. And I'm like, man, this is probably really great for my lymphatic system, all this jumping, you
Yeah.
know?
That
I'm
movement.
flushing my lymphatic system out. So those are pretty much the three: weight training, spin classes, and then I've started doing boot camp at the gym. And it's been amazing. It's really been wonderful. It's hard, it's tough, but I truly feel accomplished when I finish any of those workouts because we've
Sure.
been pushed so much. And it's not 30 minutes, it's about an hour. So I think I'm getting my 300 minutes in
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like it. Which is
Yeah, yeah.
good. Yeah. And then just, the last piece of that mind body balance is mindset, and Chef just touched on some of this. But even, when we put negative thoughts in, we get negative outcomes. And so one thing I talk about, especially with insulin resistance, is stress. For a lot of us, we don't get enough sleep. We're constantly on the go. We're not slowing down. And so it puts our bodies into the stress. And what happens with stress, you can get a fight or flight response. And so, if you kind of probably even think back to, high school biology, if you're out in the woods, then yeah, you can kind of, fight off whatever was going on, or you can run away from whatever that threat is. But in everyday life, it's not always that easy as being able to fight it off or being able to flee it. So then our bodies just end up into this chronic state of stress. And then what comes with that is it elevates our blood sugar, it elevates our blood pressure. Our body starts storing more fat. We start craving more salt, sugar, fat, those components that are not as helpful for our way of eating, and then promote even more insulin resistance just from stress. So we have to remodel that and undo that level of stress. Some of that is just, everyday self-care, like we talked about with movement. Some of that is putting those healthful foods into your body so that, when you put those healthful things in, it actually makes you feel better. Some of that is getting outside, getting some sun, just spilling some sun on your skin. Some of that is breathing fresh air. And then positive affirmations is, one of the things I like to introduce to folks too, because the more positive thoughts that you put in, then the more positive outcomes that you'll naturally beget. And so, and even with positive affirmations, if, we have folks here today who have never done these, but it's really those I am, I will, I can statements that they, begin with. I can do this. I will do this. I can improve my blood sugar. I can overcome insulin resistance. And so putting those positive thoughts in, you'll get positive outcomes. And another key piece that's helpful a lot of times is journaling. If you've never journaled, because sometimes we're easily, to forget. I see a lot of people who they may have weeks before they were doing really well and they may have dropped a pant size, but then they come back and life has been hitting them and something happens and now they're stuck and they aren't losing anymore. It's like, you've already forgotten those things that you were doing good with and felt good to you, and that you actually did drop that pant size. So you can do this. It's doable for you. But just keep putting those positive thoughts in so that you keep getting those positive outcomes.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, affirmations are very powerful and very useful, particularly when you have goals, and that you're really working to stay consistent. Because one of the things that I've learned, I'm not sure if you all are familiar with this text, it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. One of the things that he talks about is he said you're not it's not about your goals, it's about your systems. All right. And so what he means by that is if you're trying to have weight loss as a goal, or you're trying to, I don't know, drink water consistently every day, you want to do half your body weight in ounces of water, then it's not about the goal, it's about the systems that you're putting in place to meet those goals. All right. And I love the example that he used. He's like, if you have two teams playing basketball, right? They both have the goal of winning, but the team that actually wins has the better system to get to the goal of winning. All right. And so it's the same thing with us. If we have, something that we're working on, do not focus on the goal, focus on really refining your system. So if for you, okay, you know that you know, like to eat late at night, what kinds of things can you do so that you can begin to shift from eating late at night so that you're satiated, you're not, you know, binging, you know, like just, you have to really start thinking, like taking a break, thinking about what it is that you're trying to do. And then where are there mistakes or where's the system broken? And where can we tweak the system so that we can really get to the goal? All right. So it's not the goal, it's the system. And then once the system is in place and you can stick to the system, the goal is going to be easy. All right. You have anything to add to that, Dr. Shayla?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what you're saying is, definitely creating those systems. That's, what we're talking about. And I stopped sharing because I'm going to turn it over to you and then we'll get back into even community because I think that even will play a part into what you were just mentioning too.
Yeah.
Even about those goals and creating that consistency community will be important in that next piece. We do have a comment here. Someone said, I
Yeah.
have to constantly to remind myself to run my own race and release comparisonitis. Made that word up. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, we can't look at what other people are doing. We have to really just kind of step into what it is that we need, what
Mhm.
it is that you want, and what is it that you're willing to do, right? And so once we really kind of dig into that, you know, and really ask ourselves, okay, you know, how do I want to feel? You know, if you're hurting and you're just not feeling your best, are you doing things that are making you feel that way? And if you are, why are you doing that? You know? And so if you want to feel differently, you're going to have to shift the actions and the things that you need to do so that you can feel different, right? So we can go on about that. I wanted to jump in here. Thank you, Dr. Shayla, for that piece. I'm going to pin mine so we still see you, and then kind of get into some of this preparation. All right, so I'm going to actually
Let me
turn
see.
this down. Can y'all see
There we go.
this?
I
Yeah.
put you on a spotlight, so it should make you bigger on everybody's screen.
Yeah, it should be because I see only me. I don't see anybody else. All right. All right. So what I want to show you is a few items. So I'm going to give you guys the recipes for this. So I'm going to actually turn this up a little bit. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the carbs and really thinking about, you know, the swap outs for things like rice. That's going to really just kind of be a slow burn in the body. It's not going to spike our blood sugar. All right. So one of those things is quinoa. All right. So I actually prepared all of these things just so that we can be mindful about the time. So I actually made this quinoa. This is just a half a cup of quinoa to 1 cup of water. Anytime you're doing any kind of grain, what you want to do is you want to do 2 to 1, a 2 to 1 ratio. So for example, if you're doing a cup of rice, it'll be 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water, or 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice. In this case, it was a half cup of quinoa to 1 cup of water. So it's a 2 to 1 ratio. So this quinoa is absolutely perfectly cooked. All right. This is absolutely perfectly cooked. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in some leeks. All right. So I have some leeks here. Leeks is just an onion. It's another kind of onion that has tremendous amounts of flavor. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add the leeks to the pot. All right. All right. And then I also, because one of the things when you're dealing with insulin resistance, one of the things that you definitely want to bring into your diet are leafy greens. So this is some kale. I just like gently sauteed it, you know, just so that I can bring out that beautiful dark green. And then I added a little bit of sun-dried tomatoes to, not much, just a little bit, just to give it some flavor. There's some garlic in here and some coconut aminos. All right. And then what I'm going to do is just add that in. All right. So what we're going to do next, where's my spoon? What we're going to do next is we're just going to toss this. We're just going to toss this together. So I'm going to just do it here and then I'll show you the final results. So if you want to add any of the nutritional things, I know we're talking nutrition, Dr. Shayla, but if you want to add in anything as I do this, you're absolutely free to do so.
Yeah, and so Chef B just showed you all the kale that was added and a couple of things about kale and dark leafy greens. So dark leafy greens, the green color that they have actually contains what's called phytochemicals. And what phytochemicals do, they're actually good for us because they help to fight inflammation naturally, and they also help for an immune response naturally. And so I like for people to think of, those dark leafy greens as even are just natural anti-inflammatory. So it helps to keep your blood pressure low, helps to keep the fat and your cholesterol levels low to prevent those heart disease conditions also related to insulin resistance. So definitely incorporating dark leafy greens every day on your plate is going to be helpful to you.
Yep. So this is just a very simple, like you can actually have this. This can be like the main event, and then even adding some more greens on here, some salad greens. So
Mhm.
you have the cooked kale, but then you can also add in some spring mix. You can add in some arugula. You can add in some spinach, all right, to this, just to really give you a lot of that fiber so that you're not feeling hungry, all right? But with the quinoa in here, the leeks, the dark leafy greens, in this case, kale, you should be really, really good if you have this and if you're hydrating properly. This would be a wonderful lunch, or even like a dinner, an early dinner. So this is one of our dishes.
And for those protein people, what about the protein? Their
Mhm.
protein is in quinoa. There's actually a nice sufficient amount of protein in quinoa. If you get a cup of quinoa, you can get almost 10 grams of protein naturally that way.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
and it's not going to give you high cholesterol or high amount of fat while getting that protein like an animal source would. So that's definitely an all-inclusive dish that Chef B just created.
Yeah. And that's the nice thing about this, I'll say this too, I'm an old school head. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I don't have to eat a lot of different things throughout the week. I know some people want variety, but even mixing this up, right? So let's go back to the quinoa. Like you could have just the quinoa with a salad, and then if you're looking for some other protein, if you wanted to have, like some tofu or one of those kinds of things, like a really well-made tofu that's organic, made with sprouted edamame, you can also have that on here as well. And so you can have this first part of the week completely, just this along with like a salad. And then later on in the week, you can add, like some more protein to it. Like I said, a piece of tofu or some, hempe or some, tempeh or something like that to it, so that you're still having this, it's on reserve, but you're mixing it up throughout the week so you don't feel like you're eating the same thing over and over again. All right.
Yeah, you can you can add different beans to it. You can add sauce, add a different sauce, make you a peanut sauce or tomato-based sauce or what have you, and that you got a whole different dish.
You can also add some raw almonds to this as well, right? So raw almonds, as you know, we talked about nuts being very helpful. You can add these nuts to like crush them up, and then you can top them on, for your quinoa, and then you're actually getting that crunch. I think a lot of us like crunch.
Mhm.
That's going to also help to satiate you, and then it's going to give you an additional source of protein. Okay. So you can always add in the raw almonds. Actually, one of the recipes that I gave you has the raw almonds added to the quinoa. All right. So next thing is lentils. So we have some lentils. Now, let me tell you something about my lentils. When you're cooking lentils, you want to make sure that you're not overdoing it, because we still want it to have like a nice bite to it. We don't want it to be mushy. We want it to be loose so that it's kind of, moves. And one of the ways that we do that is by you just kind of cook it where it's tender, turn off the heat, and then remove it from the heat. All right. So we have the lentils here. Another wonderful source of protein, that's lentils, is part of the legumes. And then I also have here some broccoli. So for those folks who are dealing with insulin resistance, broccoli is a really good one to have in their diet. And then I'm gonna also add in here some red onions. All right.
Chef, I'm gonna cut in on those lentils for the people who are not chefs like myself. Chef B is using brown lentils there. If you or anyone like me that cooks some red lentils, no matter how I cook them, they turn to mush. But but they still taste good. But
Yeah.
brown lentils do tend to give a better bite.
Well,
Than
I'll say the exact name of this, they're not brown lentils, these are French lentils. All right.
okay.
So there's quite a few different ones. There's like the beluga ones.
Yeah,
There,
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
beluga is the black lentils, and these are French lentils. So French lentils are smaller, and then they definitely they don't cook as fast as the green lentils, right? And they give you that bite that we really want. All right. So look at how gorgeous that is, right?
Really
So
pretty.
we're making dishes that we can actually mix and match throughout the week. All right. So we can have some of the lentils here, the broccoli. You can have this by itself, again, with a salad, because we want to really start thinking about being plant forward, right? So you have some of this and then you have a salad on the side. That's going to fill you up. Or what you can do is you can combine these two. All right. That's like another dish. All right. So beautiful. They're gorgeous. And then you can also even add in here some pumpkin seeds. You can add in here the raw almonds. You can do all kinds of cool things, right? So we have this beautiful lentil broccoli medley, and I love it. I mean, it's just so pretty. Now, let me say this real quick. When I'm making my veggies, particularly like the quinoa or even the lentils, what you can do is you can add aromatics to it so that all the flavor is in there. So this is very flavorful. All right. The lentils I added to the water while it was cooking. I added in a little bit of sea salt, just a little bit. I added in garlic. And then I also added in chives, like dry chives. So here in Atlanta, we have a place called the DeKalb Farmers Market. So it's like you can get all kinds of cool spices and things of that nature. But you can even take some fresh chives or some onions or some scallions, cut it up really small, and then you can add it to the boiling process for the lentils because it's going to give it beautiful flavor. All right. So this is very balanced. It doesn't need any extra thing, right? It's just very, very balanced. The other thing to add is that I didn't add any oil when I cooked the lentils. There's no oil added to that. Okay. There was a little splash of olive oil added to the broccoli, but really you could use broth to steam the broccoli and get the same beautiful color that it has. And so if you wanted to really do oil free is very easy to achieve when you're making these kinds of dishes. All right. So this is our broccoli and lentil medley. And then the last thing that I want to show you is something that's like a little snack. All right. So I'm going to use this little container. We have here some yogurt. All right. So yogurt is also something really, really useful for folks who are dealing with insulin resistance. Now there is like Greek yogurt and all these different brands, but we really have to be mindful that it's no sugar added. All right. That's the key. No sugar added. A lot of the yogurts that's on the market has a lot of sugar added to it. So we want yogurts that are zero sugar. Now, I did find a Greek yogurt that it was almond based and it had soy. And I personally like to stay away from soy. So I didn't get that one. So this one is the one I opted for. I was looking for a yogurt that was really creamy and beautiful. And yeah, I'm going to show you how creamy and wonderful this one is. It's really, really good. Look at it. Look at how gorgeous this is. It's like thick and beautiful. So with this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of this yogurt. Look at how creamy that is, y'all. Oh my gosh. This is all almond milk. This is an almond milk based yogurt that's unsweetened. I got this from Whole Foods. Y'all see that? Non-dairy based. So what we're gonna do is, and again, this is me setting up things for the week. I'm actually using like a little parfait container. We're gonna layer this, right? We're gonna do some layers here. So we have this yogurt here. And then I also have here some berries. Berries are really, really wonderful because they're not too sweet. They're not too sweet. So we're going to add in three kinds of berries. We're going to add in the blackberries. We're going to add in raspberries. We're also going to add in blueberries.
A note on berries too. Berries are also good for insulin resistance because of the amount of fiber that's in berries. A lot of times, folks, with diabetes or with insulin resistance conditions, feel like they shouldn't eat fruit or feel like they've been told they can't have fruit or carbs. But the deal is that these fruits are actually helpful for stabilizing blood sugar. It's the skin that's on these fruits. Like if you look at those blueberries there in the picture, that skin is high in fiber. And so what that fiber does is it takes longer to break down, so it doesn't spike your blood sugar if you ate a cookie, for example, instead. And so that's actually helpful for stabilizing blood sugar by having the fiber from those berries there. So definitely a good choice.
Awesome. All right. So I put in a layer of the yogurt and then I put in a layer of the fruit. And then I also added another layer of the yogurt, like so. And so like if you're, sort of doing meal prep, you guys know I'm all about the meal prep life, this is something that you can kind of set up for yourself on a Sunday or a Saturday, getting yourself ready for the work week. And, by doing so, you kind of just have things that you're going to be able to grab very quickly that you made, with a lot of love and intention. And you know what's actually in it. You're not running out there and grabbing things that you don't need to be grabbing. So look how beautiful this is coming together. Now this one is real simple. We can actually doll it up a little bit. I was actually looking for my vanilla extract. So you can add a little bit of vanilla extract to the yogurt before you actually do this layering so that you can get like that little beautiful vanilla flavor. Look at that. Look at that layering. Look at that. So pretty. You can also do some like citrus, the lemon zest. You can add some lemon zest. That's going to also like mix that into the yogurt. That's going to also give it some really beautiful flavor as well. And then I'm going to just top it with a, a little raspberry. Now with this one, I'm actually going to, let's see, I have some, let's see, what can we add to this? I have some,
Granola, if you like a crunch on it, and you can
yeah,
even
they
make
like a crunch. You can add in chia
granola.
seeds. We can add in flaxseed. We can add in some sunflower seed. You can add in some sunflower, but I'm going to actually add in some sunflower seeds to this one. Okay. So we just grab a little bit. I'm making this up on the fly because I want you to see that you have options. So we're just adding in some of the sunflower seeds here. It's so beautiful. Oh, there we go. And then boom, this is ready to go. This is ready to go for lunch or for a snack later on.
Or
Bam.
breakfast. It's
Or
breakfast.
breakfast, exactly. You could do a few of these, right? You could do a few of these and have these just ready to go in your refrigerator. All right, so actually, let me go back and just show you all that we made because I'm pretty excited about what we made. That was kind of cool. All right, so we have the parfait. We have the beautiful lentil and broccoli medley. And then we also have here our quinoa. So I actually put the quinoa in the back since the thing is so tall. Okay. All right. How did we do? How did we do? What do you guys think? Are these recipes that you feel like you can try? Would you try these? Anybody?
Delicious.
Dr. Shayla, what you think? Would you
It's
try it?
almost dinner time. It looked delicious. You need to send some.
Listen, I'll send some to you. I'll do it. I'll send some to you. Okay. I'll send some to you. So yeah, so these are just some beautiful recipes we wanted to share with you all. Dr. Shell, I want you to talk to them. I'm gonna unpin myself. Talk to them about the community piece.
Yeah. Let's see. We do have a,
Okay, so someone said I would try all of those. Wonderful,
yeah.
wonderful.
And what
Wonderful.
I like too about what you showed, Chef, is a couple of things because a lot of times people feel like plant-based is it's either boring, so you showed us
Yeah.
that it doesn't have to be boring, all those different ways you can mix it up. People say it's expensive. Well, they look at the stuff that you purchase, those are not, expensive foods. You can buy in bulk, even quinoa, you can get,
Yep.
for pennies on the dollar. Same with beans, you can get for pennies on the
Hmm.
dollar when
Hmm.
you purchase in bulk that way. And then if you got a rice cooker or a slow cooker or even just a good old pot, they're easy to make. Broccoli, you can usually find pretty cheaply. So, that debunks, that myth too that people say, oh, it's so expensive to do. And as you showed us, those things don't take a whole lot of time and energy. And so those all create those parts of this being sustainable for you and helpful for you. Yeah. Right.
I
You-
love it. It's so pretty.
It
Ah.
is. And that's the other part too, is it looks appealing to eat because you see, all of those beautiful colors there on your plate, and all of the foods not all looking alike and looking bland. It looks flavorful and colorful and bright and pretty. And those things do. They play a part too in
Love it, dude.
how we eat. I even saw this documentary once where they were talking about even introducing helpful foods to kids. And one of the things they talked about with kids is that kids, a lot of times they'll say, well, they won't eat this or they won't eat that. But when you present them with pretty colors like that, they are
Yeah.
prone to actually choosing those things. And so, because,
Yep.
like you and I know a lot of when we eat, we are eating with our brain too, and what's going into our brain and how that looks to us and the appeal of that. So I love that you showed those different aspects too.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say about children too is that they'll eat if you include them in the process.
Hmm.
So if you're just making things and presenting it, you'll have a different outcome than if you actually had them participate in the creation of the food. They'll be more inclined to try it
Right.
because they made it. They made it themselves. They're like, I want to try it. I want to try it. So you have to include children in the process, and you'll get better outcomes for sure.
Yeah. All right. So let me go back to
All right, we're at
you.
6:31, so
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know where we are with
Yep.
the time.
Thank you. Okay, and so the last piece I wanted to share with our group here is the importance of community when you're overcoming, with health conditions and achieving health goals. And so think about your surroundings and what are those, we talked about positive inputs and negative inputs. Having a community can be definitely a positive input for you. That community can look a number of different ways. It can look like an online group that can be, Facebook. There's a Facebook group for almost everything probably now out there. It could be Meetup, which is another app. It could be a local fitness group. Here I'm a part of running clubs and hiking clubs, triathlon clubs. So I'm sure there's some in your area. You could be a part of a local group of that way, or you can just have a friend group. Other moms or other coworkers or whoever who want to create, some type of group with you, so that you can help keep that accountability and that sustainability piece. But one of the important things when you are having that community is thinking about what's going to keep you motivated and what's going to keep you accountable. And so with that, Chef B and I both have some things to introduce you to, but I'm going to introduce you to a community group that I have developed, the Mind Body Balance Collective. The Mind Body Balance Collective is my group coaching program. It is virtual, so you can join us from anywhere. Within that program, it's a community of folks who are just like you, who are wanting to take that next step in their health journey and wanting to overcome insulin resistance conditions. It includes live coaching sessions with me leading those sessions. It includes accountability with monthly challenges. It includes some pre work that you can take on the go with you, some pre formatted videos, recipes, nutrition videos, fitness videos as a part of that. And then the best part about it is it's not on Facebook. We have a private group of other professionals, so you don't have to worry about your security, your safety, any of those things. It's designed to be a intimate setting and a real community positive group setting. And so I would love to have you be a part of that to help you achieve your goals. I'm going to share with you. I would need to switch my screen. Let me do that. I'm sorry, should I have that ready? Okay. And so within the Mind Body Balance Collective, it's those pieces that I talked about. So it's really getting your mind, body, and your balance into to one accord so that you really do achieve these goals. Like I mentioned, it comes with the group coaching sessions, it comes with nutrition course videos. You get recordings of our sessions. So if you miss them, we talk about goal setting, we talk about healthy recipes, you get the library. Because it's a monthly group, it refreshes each month, so you're not getting the same old stuff every month. You're getting new stuff, you're getting things that'll really keep you moving forward in your health journey within the collective. You can join the group for only $99 per month, so it's meant to be affordable. It's meant to be, doable, because I really want you to be able to accomplish these goals with me. And because you have joined today on this webinar with Chef Bee and I'm throwing in, these are some bonuses that already come with it just by you joining the collective, but I'm throwing in some bonuses that are not even on here for you. When you enroll in 3 months or more into the collective, you'll get a discount because, like I said, it's $99 a month just for 1 month. But when you pay in full, you take $190 off of that for the year, and 3 months is $267. So it makes it cheaper for you that way too. And I'm throwing in a one-on-one coaching session with that because you were part of this webinar, as well as my insulin resistance for busy professionals guide. These things have never been offered before as a part of the collective. The collective is a group coaching program, but I really want you to succeed. So I'm wanting to do a one-on-one session with you and offering that as a special bonus for being a webinar participant. And so I'll be sharing more with you by way of email about the collective, and you can feel free also to drop it in the comments too with any questions. And I'm gonna stop sharing and turn it over to Chef B so you can share what you have too.
Awesome. Yes. So I'm actually trying to pull it up here right now. Let me hit share, host disabled participant screen share. All right. So just put me back in there so I can
Yeah.
share. So while Shayla is doing that, Dr. Shayla is doing that, one of the things that I am really wanting people to really get back to, and I mean, folks have shared with me, this is something that's very, very important, particularly if you're dealing with a chronic issue, you need to get back into the kitchen and you need to cook your own meals, all right? So many of us are outsourcing the foods that we eat. And really, if we're talking about just really helping to shift the outcomes of what's going on in our bodies, we need to actually get back into the kitchen. So one of the things that we're doing this weekend is something called the Book and Cook Weekend Sale, and it's just $45. So this is you getting a copy of our cookbook, Let Plants Nourish You. And then with that, we have a virtual class that will be scheduled for June 5th, Wednesday, June 5th. Once we have our students, finalize everything, what we'll do is we'll tell you the time. But this is an opportunity for you to get a copy of our cookbook and it not stay on the shelf. All right. So many of us buy cookbooks, we get excited about the cover, we get excited about some of the things that's inside, but we never actually go through and really work those recipes. So this book and cook sale gives you an opportunity to not only get the cookbook, but then also engage with me virtually so that you can actually get some of these recipes under your belt. All right. super exciting about that. In addition to the book and cook sale, we also have something here at the Healing Me First Wellness Center. That's actually where I am, where we do readings, we do bioscans. And, oftentimes when people come to me, I'm not sure exactly what they need. They tell me some of the things that's going on with them. But then, through a reading, we can really see what kinds of ways we can actually further the conversation, further the work together. So with you being on this webinar tonight, you have the opportunity to take advantage of the book and cook sale, which ends tonight. So it's $45 for you to participate in that. But then also you will get the opportunity to do a bioscan with me. Now, if you're local to Atlanta, wonderful, you can come up to the Healing Me First Wellness Center. And then for those people who are not local, we can also do the bioscan virtually. So that is my offer, the book and cook. I would love for you guys to book and cook with me. And then after you book and cook, you guys can actually get that bio scan so that you can really learn where we can go next with each other. We do have ongoing cooking classes here every couple weeks. So you have the virtual option. And then if you like the virtual option, we do have a monthly meetup, our Healing Me First Transform and Thrive program. But I want you to actually just start with getting the cookbook and getting some recipes under your belt from the cookbook. And then from there, we can see where we need to move next. All right. So that is my offer to you all tonight who's on here. We want to know if you have any questions. You could actually stop sharing now. We'll send you the links to these two sites so that you guys can sign up and take advantage. Now, the book and cook sale tonight is the last night that the price will be $45. It will change after midnight. So, I mean, like that's to me a awesome deal for you to get a copy of the book and then a virtual cooking class that's live where you can get all the recipes, you get all the ingredients, and then you just boom, we work together and you make it happen. So after tonight, that price will change. All right. So we definitely want you to take full advantage of all the things that you guys learned today and that, we hope that you are ready to implement. Do you guys have any questions about anything?
Yeah, and while we're waiting for questions, the offer that I'm offering to you all, it's available for 72 hours. So get your book and cook with Chef Bee over the next 24, and then you'll have 3 days to join us in the collective and take advantage of these additional bonus offers with the one-on-one coaching session with me, as well as that insulin resistance to thrive guide that I'm
Yeah,
throwing into. So part of that.
that's good.
Yeah.
Dr. Shayla, you have any comments, anything that you want to say to the people?
Yeah, so first I just want to thank you all for joining us this evening, taking a little time out on your Sunday. I know that can be precious time. So I do appreciate for folks spending that time with us. I encourage you to really, think about these things that we discussed today. Think about ways that you can improve your own health. Even as a physician, I tell people I still want you to be able to take charge of your health. Yes, I'm, the doctor. I can guide you. I'm happy to guide you and give you the evidence-based guidelines, but really it's ultimately up to you to make that decision of those changes that you want to make and that you're gonna do those things to be able to make those changes in your health and achieve those sustainable results. And so, really taking this to heart, remembering just to get more plants on your plate so that you can achieve these things and that you can reduce your risk for these chronic health conditions and live that healthy and happy and energetic life that you desire to achieve.
Yes, I echo all of that. Thank you so much for, being here. I think that, it takes like the one step, right? So if you must know that there's something showing up for you that you really need to address. And so the fact that you are all here and are participating fully till the end, right? That's huge, that's huge. And so, now it's the time to take action. All right, now is the time to take action. What are you going to do? What will you be willing to do to address some of these things that are coming up for you? All right. We're here. We're here to support you. Shayla is not far away. She's in Tennessee. I'm here in Atlanta. And so we've actually even talked about doing some more collaboration where I come to Tennessee to her and see her people. So you have people who are here to help you and support you. The question now is, what next step are you willing to take so that you can really start getting the ball rolling in your wellness, you know? And I know some of us sometimes we're like, oh, the money, but you can't afford not to. Oh, okay. So we have somebody in Chattanooga. Awesome. Yeah, that's not too far from us though. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you mentioned, chef, folks really they do have to decide. We know that we threw a lot at you today, because there's a lot to this. Rome wasn't built overnight, like the saying goes. And so, you can't expect that all of this will just, will sink in and come to you overnight. That's why we're here, because we do want to be that support for you. That's why the collective was created, to be that monthly, daily support that you can have, those accountability pieces that you need. That's why Chef is here, to show you how to do these things, that you can do them right in your kitchen. She's in a kitchen. You got a kitchen too. She can show you how to do those things.
Right in the
Uh,
kitchen. That's
right,
right.
right.
And
So,
let me tell you, it didn't take long to prep these things. It wasn't, I was like, all right, ready for the webinar. I'm like, oh, should I show them how to do it? I'm like, no, we don't need to do all of that. But just even, I would say 10, 15 minutes, I was able to just pull these items together and get everything prepped and ready to go. So a lot of what we're thinking is challenging is actually not challenging. It's very, very doable. We just have to again shift our mindset. But like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go. We about to do this thing, you know, and really get out of our comfort zone. Healing is work. Healing is not a comfort zone thing. Healing is work.
mhm.
And so, you gotta interrogate what you're thinking, how you being. Just are you fooling yourself? All of those things. We have to do it. Healing is work. It's not easy at all.
But it's doable.
So
It's
yes. All right.
doable.
Someone says, thanks for a very informative session from the two queens of plant life. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nashanta Jones. Nashanta's here in Atlanta, so I know
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Thank you, Shanta. Those kind words. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you don't have any other questions, any closing remarks, we're over and out. Remember, you have these beautiful offers from both of us. We hope that you take full advantage of them. We'll definitely send those links to you via email, so that you can get those things. And actually, this is what I'll do, Dr. Shayla. I'm gonna extend the book cook sale till tomorrow night.
All
All
right.
right. So they could think about it. They could
Yeah.
they could just have a time to reflect. So you guys, you will get an opportunity to do book cook sale until tomorrow night, which is Monday night at midnight. All right. Thanks, y'all. I'm in Atlanta too. Okay, yes. All right. I see you. I see you. So please, we would love for you to come cook with us. We would love for you to come and be in community with us. Dr. Shayla, myself. So if any of this resonates with you, please reach out to us, ask questions. We're here.
Yeah. Thank you all. Take
All
care.
right. Kisses and hugs to all of you. Have a great night. And I know Memorial Day weekend is coming up soon, right?
Yeah.
So take care of yourselves. Make good choices with those foods. Don't get crazy out here in these streets. Folks are ready. They ready for you. They ready for you at these festivals for you to be crazy.
Mhm.
You got to stay focused. Stay on your grind. All right. Stay focused on the systems. What systems are you putting in place?
That's right.
Don't get crazy now when you go out in these streets. Please.
But go out and
But
enjoy
go out,
some
have a good
sun, some
time.
fresh air.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right, y'all. Have a
Thank
blessed
you.
night. Take care. We'll talk soon.